into everything. I'm walking into everything. I'm walking into everything God has for me. I'm walking into everything. I'm walking into everything. I'm walking into everything God has for me. I'm walking into
Saturday night to you. Welcome back to the Love Challenge. We've not been together in a month. We had to postpone the last Love Challenge session. So I've not seen you all in 4 weeks. Well, I don't even see you when you're here, but you know what I mean. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Stacy on YouTube. If you comment, please let us know that you're here. Tonight, we're going to be looking for you to comment, engage. I'm trying to watch my personal page on one device. We're watching the comments here because this is going to be something you're going to want to engage. I have a Facebook user saying hello to me. Unfortunately, it does not give me your name, but hello to you too. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, let me tell you, tonight, be prepared because it's somewhat of a heavy topic that we're going to talk about, but I chose the perfect people to talk about this because the fun that we have had just in the prep, there's no telling where we're going tonight. I'm just telling you. And Latasha's going to kill us because we might even go a little bit over because I really want to get this information out. And I found out these 4 gentlemen, they're not containable. So we don't know where we're going. So let me just give you a little bit of information before I bring my guest on. Tonight is something we're doing a little bit different. It is a love challenge topic, but tonight we're talking about having the difficult conversation and how to start that conversation. I have some men on with me tonight who are experts that I would consider experts in their fields. They are very knowledgeable in their fields. And so on one hand, you all know, normally I don't do marketing. Normally this is not geared towards marketing. This is all about ministry. But I have some men with me who have learned how to take what they do as a business and they do ministry. And so tonight we have their information. We're going to share their contact information. But tonight is not just about getting their business out there. It is about ministering to you. And so I want to bring them on. I'm going to bring on my first guest. The reason I'm bringing him first is because actually he is the reason for tonight's Love Challenge. I watched him do a video some time ago. It was months ago, actually early at the beginning of the year. And the weird thing is when I watched his video, I was out of town burying a family member. And his video was so timely for me because he was talking as a pastor about the importance of having these conversations with your pastor. And as he talked, I said, you know, excuse me, I think that could be a love challenge topic. So he's been here before. He is not new to the love challenge. So if you will welcome with me again, my little big brother, Pastor Andre Shep Clark is here. He's going to give us some vital information. I have another young man who actually he was not on the flyer. He was not initially a guest panelist, but I had some conversation with him talking about this, and I said, you know what are you doing Saturday night at 7? Because I'd like you to be able to share as well. So please welcome with me also Elder Brian Lewis. He's going to have some phenomenal information for us. And then I don't know what to call him. Sometimes I call him uncle. Sometimes I call him brother. Sometimes I call him cousin. But to me, I don't even use his title half the time. I know he's a pastor and he's big time funeral director and stuff. But to me, he's just Alan. So please welcome with me Pastor Alan Core, and then also a young man that has been just so highly respected by my family. He has been there. I remember him being there in one of our hardest times, and he has just been such a brother as well. Please welcome Brother Darrell Saxon. Yay, yay, yay. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. So tonight we're talking about having the difficult conversation. What is that difficult conversation? I'm going to give my own specific, experience, and it'll kind of open the door. And then I'll ask some questions of you. I can remember at a point in time when I was younger and I had just bought my home. And I remember taking care of business. And I remember the man asking me questions about my parents and this, that, and the other. And then I thought about sometimes in ministry, and I have seen the difference where someone lost a loved one and everything just seemed to fall in place, pop, 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 because they went and grabbed, I was sharing with Elder Lewis, they went and grabbed a binder. Everything was in the binder. This is what I want done. And everything just went smoothly. But in these days and times, things are so uncertain that not everybody can guarantee that they're going to have all that time to do that long-term planning. And so I want to use tonight as a wake-up call for those families that have not had the difficult conversation to say, I recognize I'm not going to live forever. Let's make sure things are in place. Elder Brian Lewis is going to talk to us in a little bit about insurance and the importance of it, but that's not the whole picture. It's so much more of a bigger picture. So I want to ask Shep, first of all, Shep, what is it when we talk about Love Challenge? Why is having that important conversation with my family members, why is that such an act of love? I think people have it twisted. And they say, well, I don't want to talk about this, or I love them too much. When really it's just the opposite. If I love my family, I need to have that conversation. Shep, I want to talk to you first. Why is that conversation such a big part of that piece of love?
Because we're not used to it. It's very, we don't even know. I'm a grown man. I'm 42 years old and just got me a new primary doctor. And I had to call a relative. Now, what runs in our family?
Wow.
Is it cancer? Who had cancer? How many people had cancer? So if we're not willing to talk about diabetes and high blood pressure and who had cancer in the family, how are we going to talk about death and whether or not we have insurance? And here's the biggest thing that, and I don't want to take up too much time, is that here's one of the biggest problems is people lie. Our family members lie and tell us everything God be covered. If you just go to that box up under my bed, I got all my papers there. They ain't had nothing. And now we sitting there in front of Darrell or Alan, and now we're saying, oh my God. Now we got Givelify and Cash App and GoFundMe's because they lie. So we're just not comfortable. If you love your family, you got $500 sneakers on, then you could have put that money towards a life insurance policy. You could have went down, took that $500 right to Brother Darrell or Brother Allen and they do prearrangements. Take care of your business so that at the end of the day, your family ain't stressed and coming in front of them. And then we as Black people, because everyone knows, y'all forgive me, I call them Brother Saxon and Pastor Core, because they know them. Then they go to them and says, "You can't hook us up."
Wow.
They are business owners. And if they hooked up everyone they know, they would never make any money. And so I think that we need to be, the reason why it shows love is because you don't want your mother, your father, your sister, your brother worried and stressed about how they're going to bear. You not know how terrible it is to have to tell somebody that they being cremated? Some people can't even handle that. That's why you want to make sure everything is talked about up front.
Thank you. And I want to pass that on. So we're going to take that same question and pass it to our two funeral directors, because I'm sure that you all have seen experience on both sides. And I'm sure that you've seen it where, yep, everything was handled, taken care of. And like I said, it's so much bigger than just the insurance, but that's a big piece of it. Why would you tell, what if you had to encourage a family member that says, I don't even really want to talk about it? What would be your advice? What is your wording as funeral directors and based on what you've already seen? Brother Darrell, I'm going to start with you and then we're going to go to Pastor Core. What would be your advice to that person that says, I don't really want to even have that conversation?
Well, first of all, God bless all of you that's here on this conference tonight. I love all of you, and my prayers are with you. I talk to my family about it daily, and one big issue with it is a lot of our people just don't know. So many of our people have purchased life insurances, say, years ago for $3,000 or $5,000. Well, back in 1991, yeah, you could get a funeral for $2,800 and you were covered. But time has lapsed, so things have changed. Prices have changed. My God, gas is not $1 a gallon anymore.
Wow.
But our people don't want to understand that, nor do they want to even believe it. Pastor Core can attest to this. There was once upon a time you could get a grave and the opening and closing of a grave in Forest Lawn for under $1,000. You go to Forest Lawn now, you starting out at $4,000 minimum. So to really answer your question, I talked to my family and said, well, first of all, is your final disposition important to you? Because you have some people that tell you, well, they can just put me in the bag and throw me in the yard. Well, no, that's not going to happen. So let's get it understood. What do you really want done? Well, I just want to be cremated. Okay. Well, there's an expense behind that. Who's going to have that responsibility? Will you make the provisions or will you leave that responsibility on your family? Either way it goes, the finance has to be in place to take care of it. Well, our culture, our traditionalists, we are accustomed to having a body dressed, placed in a casket, viewed, taken to a church, have a service, and then taken to a grave versus having the body cremated. And it's very difficult to get our people to understand that the pricing structure has changed dramatically. And we rather put more money or put more value in our leisure than in our final disposition.
Wow.
So I try my best to explain to people the truth. And Pastor Core, once again, can attest to this. The only way you can make it with death care is to tell the people the truth. You can't concern yourself whether they agree with it or whether they like it. You have to tell them the truth so that we can make things happen in a respectable and decent manner.
Thank you. Thank you. Pastor Core, I'm going to open that same box for you. What is your advice to somebody that says, I don't really want to have that conversation. I don't even want to talk about it. Why do they need to have that conversation with their loved ones?
Thank you again. I would want to concur with Deacon Saxon. One of the things, though, I lead the families with is this. I say, you all spend time to buy weed and Hennessy to
In,
party.
in
Uh,
it,
you take time to buy dresses for comedy hours or pantsuits or get your nails done.
yeah, nail.
So I say to them, what we do is it's best to have a pre-planned point. So I try to emphasize pre-planning because you know how you want to look, you know what you want at your affair, and so those are the things that I try to encourage them that, like you prepare to live, prepare also for your closure because you want a big bang. And a lot of our young people, particularly now, don't take out time to do insurance or those things, but yet impression is good to them. They want T-shirts with their face on it, or their family wants T-shirts. They even now have masks with your face on it. The
Amen.
Mhm.
more like you. So I say to them that it's very imperative and important that you plan. So for some people, even insurance still goes over their head. So I say to them, if you put aside, let's say $30 a week or a month, put that into a pre-planned point. Whether it's if you do term insurance, you got to understand it's only going to be term. But if you get life insurance, it's longer and better for you because most of you, I'm not trying to knock insurance agents, but when you do term, it's a 10-year term. That means 10 years later, you won't be as healthy as you are. You won't have some things working for you as they are now. That means 10 years later, you got to
That's
pay
right.
more for insurance. So if you do a life whole policy, some of your policies can be also placed in areas where it could work for you beyond just a policy.
Okay.
So primarily, I try to encourage them. And I just asked the kid today, trying to encourage him to go to college. I don't want to go to college. I said, well, when you tie your sneakers up, do you do it because it's fashionable or you don't want to trip? And he thought about it. He said, I tie them because I don't want to trip. I said, well, that's what you want to do. Go to college because you don't want to trip. So that's what I tell people at funeral service. You don't want a mess over your body, folk arguing about taking you to this, that, or the other. And I think one of the greatest leads I have is we have an area director who's of another culture who has supported the false point that you can do everything for this amount of money, only to know that when they get in the building, it costs more. And then their pride, they won't even tell the truth because they know they paid more. But their pride says, no, it was cheaper. So I say to people, there's nothing cheap, especially living or dying. So prepare and make it the best impression that you can do.
That's good. Thank you. To my other brother that we've not heard from yet. Now that we've opened the door to insurance, Elder Brian Lewis, and we'll have his contact information here as well. Um, we had a really good conversation and we talked about insurance. And one of the things that Elder Brian said to me that I'm going to let him expound on. And he said, when you're younger, first of all, parents don't think about having to take insurance out on their children.
Right.
But I'm a living witness. I watched my parents have to bury a daughter. It happens.
That's right.
And then the flip side of that is, and I'm talking when I should let him talk. But Elder Lewis, talk about that, and even what you talked about to me yesterday about when a parent leaves this world. And okay, I'm gonna let you talk.
Not a problem. And again, God bless everybody. Agreeing with the Elder Core and also Deacon Saxon is that the importance of insurance, first of all, is that our people, when you talk about insurance, they automatically say, no, I'm good, I'm fine. And what I've learned, I've been in the industry for over 15 years, and what I've learned is that it's not an O, it's an OW. It means that they don't know. Because people don't know sometimes because of that lack of ignorance, meaning that they just don't understand it. They don't receive the education of insurance. So that goes into seeking advice because Brother Saxon as well as Pastor Cora mentioned is that there are multiple plans. One thing that I'm proud of is that in my years of selling whole life insurance, I've never sold a term policy. Me personally, I believe that you have to initiate a whole life before you even think about doing a term. There's a place for it, but first of all, most people don't have any insurance at all. The conversation that me and you had, Shannon, is one of it shouldn't be difficult. It should be. It's always been in our community as African Americans. There's always been a stigma as far as death. We're very secretive as people. It's been raised up that way. Don't tell nobody that you died. If you remember Soul Food, they had to find the TV with the money in the back of it. You know, they had to find it. So certain things that we've never actually discussed, and life insurance is one of those things that we should mention on a daily basis, or I mean on a serious basis, more than just when somebody dies. We need to think about that way before that. And so what we were talking about when we were conversing was how important, and we don't think about it, is that a whole life policy on that average child is $10. And here's the situation: is that no matter how what happens, as Elder Core did mention, no matter what happens in life, that policy will generally be at a fixed rate, and the person never pays. Later on in life, they may get an illness or some type of hereditary disease. So I also see the importance of, oh, you have a new grandchild. This is the time. It's only $2. You get what I'm saying? You can get a $20,000 policy for $5 or $7. Keep that on them, so no matter what happens in life, they have something. But what most people don't actually realize as far as children is that at the time, and Elder Corey and Mr. Saxon can definitely attest, is that at the time of your final arrangement or final planning, um, the child is responsible to take care of the parent, not married. So that's something that we haven't really understood, because you go to your pastor and tell them this is what you want. You go to your favorite elder, or you go to your niece and you'll tell them that your final arrangement. But if it's not written or expressed, what happens is that the siblings are definitely responsible for it. And it's the importance of now the reverse. It's as they're younger, we make sure that they're taken care of. As our parents get, we have to make sure then that they're also taken care of, because at the end of the day, as a child, you're responsible for the final arrangement.
Thank you for that. Now I'm going to take a little bit of a pause, and then we're going to continue this because I refuse to allow the enemy to have the victory. So for those of you that can see us, I want to explain, because thank you. I just got a text from somebody saying you can't see my comments, and then I checked. Many of you know we have been fighting. Every time we do Love Challenge, there's a company that fights me, and usually as soon as we get off, they hit the video and block it. So I was wondering why I wasn't seeing people's comments, and I just went out and checked. They have already hit us and blocked us. So even though we're live right now, many people are trying to see the video and they cannot see it live. This is what I know. We're going to come back. I'm going to dispute it. It's so everything that we're talking about now will be available not only in a few days, but I'm going to pull the YouTube link as soon as we finish this and repost that YouTube link to my page. So I'm doing a small announcement in between, and it looks like Latasha. Okay, she's back.
What I can actually do is I can put us on in a different way, Shannon. If you could give me, if you want them to, I can do a Zoom, and then I can do live on a couple of channels, on your channel and Ephesus, if you would like.
Okay, do we need to?
I will just I'll put a Zoom link over into the chat, and then we'll go live back on the Perfect Peace page, and I'll see what other pages I can get us on.
Okay, gentlemen, do you mind doing that?
Just send me the link.
Okay, so why don't you stay here so I can put the link in the chat, and you'll all go there, and then hang on one second.
Okay.
All right. We win, Sister Shannon. We win.
We do. They have been, and Shep knows this, they do this every single time. Yeah. But normally they do it right after we get off.
Well,
and
what don't they like?
Huh?
What is it that they're disputing?
So it says Aditya Movies blocked your video because it may contain content they own. It doesn't. So what happens is anybody could just go out. You could be in your Sunday morning service, and somebody could go and say they're playing content that belongs to me. As soon as they do that, Facebook blocks it, and then you have to file a dispute and say, no, I own everything. At
You
that
use your
point,
own music.
exactly. I win the dispute every time. Every single time.
We're gonna take you guys off live, but stay here, everybody. I'm just gonna turn
Okay.
the live part off. Hold on one second.
Okay.